You will open the meeting with the pledge of allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty. Okay, I'm going to do this with the mic on so everyone on YouTube can hear me. So, welcome everyone who wasn't in the room. Esta junta se lleva a cabo en inglés, pero contamos con servicio de traducción si alguien gusta hacer un comentario. Agenda, one of the proposed changes and modifications to the agenda. You guys can tell me anyway. Micless. All right, so none. We will move on to the consent agenda. Okay. Just no. All right, the consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda were sent to the board and posted online last week. The board has had the opportunity to review the materials and ask the superintendent any questions they've had about any items on the consent agenda. The consent agenda for this meeting includes the minutes for the 8/18/25 board workshop and the 8/26/25 regular meeting, vouchers and payroll, personnel report, contracts, field trips, June financial report. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Just raise your hand. All right, Julie raised her hand first. Would someone else want to raise their hand second? All right, Maria has raised her hand second. So it has been moved by Julie and seconded by Maria. Any discussion? Raise your hand and I'll get you a mic. All right, seeing silence. That works. Yeah. All in favor of adopting the consent agenda as presented, raise your hand. All right, ayes have it. No opposed. I raised my hand. Motion carries. All right, so we are going to do something a little anew. We're trying bright spots. I think we should workshop the name a little bit more, but what's on the agenda. And I'm going to turn it over to Corey, and he's going to tell us amazing things.
All right. Well, and I have amazing people here to share amazing things. So this is great. So we are introducing a new section of our board meetings starting this week called, well, maybe we'll work on it. But right now it says Bright Spots in the Wenatchee School District. And this will simply be a place where we share or hear from someone who is sharing amazing things that are happening in the Wenatchee School District. And today we're privileged to have our new administrators or administrators in new positions and people that are in our system that are shaping our district, which is fantastic. So, and this was President Jackson's idea. So I'm excited to have everyone here to share and put names with faces. So all of you amazing administrators, if you wouldn't mind, just you can pop up and come over to the podium in solidarity to support one another. And then, and just feel free to kind of work your way through whatever you have prepared. It's like, look at this, Marlon. It obviously looks like they want you to go first. So however you want to go, we just are glad you're here. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you, board. I'm excited to be here tonight. My name is Marlon Howell. I'm the new technology director for Wenatchee. Before I came here a couple months ago, I was in the Moses Lake School District as the technology director there for 13 years. And before that, I was the technology director at Samaritan Healthcare down in Moses Lake. And before that, I was a consultant, worked for companies like IBM, Lucent, Catholic Health Initiatives, and a few others. I've been in the industry for 30 plus years now. Really, since I graduated from university, I have been in technology, and I've seen it all. If it's tech related, I've seen it, and I'm excited to be here in Wenatchee. I truly feel this is the place for me and my family now. I'm excited to be here, and there's some great things. I have some big shoes to fill with Ron leaving. Ron was a wonderful technology director, a great mentor that I knew Ron going to other conferences and other things through the years. And he's done some amazing things. And so my job now is to, make sure that we continue to do what he was doing and move our district and, into that 21st century education. And don't have a lot more to say unless you have questions for me about my background or anything of that nature.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marlon.
Hi, I'm Donna Moser, the interim principal at Wenatchee High School this year. Thank you for having us tonight. This is my 15th year at the high school, and I spent 14 years at Pioneer before that. I'm excited for the opportunity. We're having a lot of fun, and we appreciate your support.
Thanks, Donna.
Hello, board. I'm Amber Burks. I'm the new Director of Learning and Teaching. A few things about me. I've been in the district now. This is year 10. Before this, I was at Icicle River Middle School. I spent a decade there, where I got to work with amazing community members and a team that really shaped me and my leadership around learning for all, no matter what it takes. And that's what I bring to my leadership role. I am grateful to the Wenatchee School District for being on a journey with myself and my husband and my 2 kids. My daughter Eleanor Burks graduated this year, and she's heading to Western Washington University. I'm so thankful for all of our teachers and just how we've been mentored all the way through as a family. And I have an 8th grader writer who is doing very well. And again, I'm just so thankful for our school and our community for investing in my family. And I want to do that for all of our families. And I would just close by saying thank you for having us here tonight.
Thanks, Amber.
Hi, my name is Yumi Savage. I'm the interim assistant principal at Wenatchee High School this year, supporting 9th and 11th graders. It's been really fun so far, definitely getting my steps in and very busy. It's been, we have some new things going on at Wenatchee High School this year, and I'm really behind those things, and it's been great to see how students respond. I got into this work because I love students and I love problem solving. And I love working with families and staff and students to help them be most successful in the learning environment. Couldn't do this work without my super supportive husband, who's also a teacher, Tanner Savage, and my 2 little girls. So I am a mom, and I have a 3 and a 1-year-old. So very busy all the time. Okay, nice to meet you.
Thanks, Yumi.
Hello, thank you for having us tonight. I'm Kathy Kiefer, and this is my 31st year as an educator. I am returning to Wenatchee and Wenatchee School District, so we came home this summer. But I have about 20 years experience as a teacher at both the elementary and middle level. I taught at Pioneer Middle School for about 9 years, and then moved into administration the last 10 years. And we have been out and about kind of pursuing career options for my husband and I both for about the last 8 years. We've been away from home. And so I am very excited to be back in the Wenatchee Valley and really thankful for the opportunity to return to the Wenatchee School District to continue to support this community that we love. So thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Kathy's the assistant director for special ed. I think you left that out. Hi, I'm Shane Rennie. I'm the director of special ed. Kathy's other half. So this is my 25th year with the school district, not counting the other 18 as a student. So my school picture from kindergarten was much cuter than this year. I've been the assistant director for 2 years, and I moved into the director role this year. We have a great team. We're super excited about some new things we're doing and connecting with kids and teachers and just trying to strengthen all the pieces. Before this, I was an intervention specialist at Washington. I taught 2 years of kindergarten, which is, I feel like, a rite of passage that everybody should have the opportunity for. Don't need to do that again. And then before that, I taught 3rd grade for many years. So I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. My 7-year-old is the director of our family at our house. So sometimes we have a little bit of battle there, but I'm just excited to be in the role for the opportunity. It's a big role to fill, but I feel excited for it. We've had a great department day to kick off with 66 of our teachers. And so we're kind of off to a decent start.
Excellent. Thanks, Shane.
Hi there, I'm BJ Kuntz. I am returning to the school district after 6 years of
traveling and pursuing some other professional opportunities. So I am a proud Panther grad, and I worked here for 22 years before I did depart, and now I've returned. So I'm super excited to be back, to take all of the things I've learned and grown as a athletic administrator and try to bring those to our community and to grow our programs. And it's been a really great start. We have great coaches, we got great kids, we got great families. It's been really fun to watch our kids get to compete. Last weekend was our first time to get to have home games, and we ended up with Plan C and everybody traveled. So, but I'm just very pleased that we had a Plan C because a lot of people didn't get to play last weekend, and we did. So thankful to all the different people that helped us pivot and make that happen. So we're off to a great start and looking forward to a full year of great things. So thank you for having me back.
Thanks, BJ. I also want to recognize Jennifer Henderson, who is not able to be here tonight, in her new role as Director of Payroll. She was previously Assistant Director of Payroll, so that's another person. And then we're missing Eric Anderson, and who you usually see over here at the cabinet table as our Executive Director of Learning, Teaching, and Schools. He had a family emergency that took him to Spokane earlier today. And then Anaisa Lemus Pulido, she also had a family emergency. And I'm trying to Washington Elementary, and her title is Dean of Students, I believe. Okay, there it is. I've got it all. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for leading courageously in the district. Thank you for returning home. For those of you that are returning home, we really appreciate that. And thanks for sharing tonight. So let's give them a round of applause. Thanks. Yes, and you are all welcome to stay if you would like for the rest of the board meeting, or you have opportunities to go about your evening in other ways. So you're welcome to leave whenever, but thank you for coming tonight. All right.
Just like every presenter. Yeah. Well, they told us, they videoed them themselves. All right. Kim, no citizen comments? Okay. So no citizen comments tonight. So we get to cruise to page 2 of my notes. And it goes back to you, Corey.
Excellent. Thank you, President Jackson. Our strategic plan, as you know, has 3 priorities that we have outlined that help our schools excel and our students succeed: thriving environments, opportunities, and partnerships. And partnerships in the strategic plan is defined as relationships between students, staff, families, schools, and community that enhance the student well-being and success. Today's presentation is an example of this definition of partnerships that help shape and foster student success. So we have Emilio here tonight from Community in Schools, and he is going to share about his program and the impact it is having on our school community, specifically Westside High School and Foothills Middle School. So thanks for being with us. Yeah. And we'll have you pop up here. Liz will get your presentation up, and there should be a clicker up there. Liz will do this. It is not digested. I will resend it. Okay. Yeah, and you've got a clicker up there. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you. My name is Emilio and I'm the executive director for communities in schools of North Central Washington. And honored to be here tonight. I really I like the way you described the partnership part, because it does take a village, and it's about but it's not only about partnering, but partnering with the right entities. And that's part of a lot of what we do. I want to go real quickly. I'm going to take about 10 minutes to talk about overall what Communities in School is and does, in our state, and where it came from. Actually, you wouldn't be surprised to know that Bill Milliken was a teacher, and he started it. A little bit of his story, and I'll talk to Edgar about that because he did that. But we're gonna excuse Edgar Salamanca. He is the program director, was with this program from the beginning when the being incubated, and he's about to be a dad for the first time of a baby girl. So, like tonight, possibly. So, yesterday I said, you gotta get that out there. And I think he took a version, and I didn't see that until now, but this is fun. he's thinking about toys for his daughter already. So Communities in Schools was founded in the Bronx, New York. And it started as a nonprofit founded by a teacher by the name of Bill Milliken. Bill is actually the gentleman right in the center of the photo that you can see. And he's about 80 years old, a little bit over 80 years old. This started back in 78. And he had one big thing to say. He says, programs don't change people, relationships do. And I think that's the important thing about all of us in this room. And, by the way you started the meeting, that impresses me, that it's about who we are and how we stand with each other, and how important that is. And he saw one thing that he sees and is he saw children coming to school with adult-sized burdens many a times, hungry, stressed out about, behavioral issues or things going on at home or in the streets. So he said, bringing community resources inside public schools is where they are accessible, coordinated and accountable. And that is what the name says, communities in schools. What we do is we forge partnerships with community organizations like the food banks, the churches, the different types of entities and government entities, and we create memorandums of understandings with them, and we bring them in and connect as much as we can as we provide the services in the schools. Our mission is to surround students with a community of supports, empowering them to stay in school and achieve in life. That's pretty straight and to the point. It's the community of supports. One of the things that we do in the site coordinators are the staff that we embed in the schools. And as Corey was saying, last year we had the good fortune to partner with Mike, now newly retired. And God knows where he's at. I got to give him a call and let him know how well the program is doing. But it was actually, I'm trying to think of a principal at Westside, Deborah, thank you. She is amazing. She was very persistent and started calling us, and she lost some programs and say, hey, I think we have an opportunity to partner. So she had Mike to the table and another principal and put some, they cobbled some money together. We had a grant and we started in January last year. We missed like half the year, but this year we're starting from the beginning. We hired a couple of great staff there, both of them bilingual, and very engaged. And one of the things that we did from the beginning, was just to engage the staff and do things. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we do that. We are locally focused, but we're nationally active. Okay. And CIS is in 27 states, and the District of Columbia is the current network that span over 3,460 schools, and impacting about 2 million children. Imagine that, from the 1970s, a teacher just caring, and where it's at today. In the state of Washington, we are in 15 communities, 2 of them still being incubated, Blue Mountain in Walla Walla, and in Yakima, Central Washington. And we are the newest affiliate. We were incubated from 2017, and we officially became a nonprofit, independent nonprofit in 2022, July 1st of 2022. There's a state office, CIS Washington, located in Tacoma, and they facilitate a lot of issues with national, and they also do resource development and work with the network, things like a digital equity, and contracts from Costco. We function with a lot of private funding. For example, the positions in the school right now is Ballmer funding, Steve Ballmer. And one of the things that I love about Jeff Bezos is that he divorced Mackenzie Scott, and she got so vindictive that she gave all her money away. And in the state of Washington, she's given about $7 million to CIS schools. We've benefited from that as well, and it's like not a phone call, not a solicitation. All of a sudden, there's 3 nonprofits that received 2, 1.5, and $1 million, just without even asking for it, because they believe so much in what the model does, integrated student supports. We have Chelan Douglas, I'm gonna make sure to separate them, Okanagan, and Grant County. Last year, we were in 15 schools. This year, we expanded to 4 more schools. We are in Waterville School District. That was one of our original schools. Orondo School District. Moses Lake, is where most of our schools are at, 8 schools. Manson School District, all the schools in Manson, Palisades, and of course in Wenatchee School District. This coming year, we are starting in Cascade School District, Alpine, and Eniat School District, as well as Nispillim School District, and also with Pinnacle Prep. So we're clearly, finishing up that contract to get them started. Also with Balmer funding, because when Balmer gave the national CIS about $200 million, and they've been doing a cohort for the last 3 years. We got in cohort 2, and then this year, the state association has gotten 3 cohorts, and we're in it this year for 4 schools. The cool thing is this year, they didn't do what is called reentry schools. And that means that we had 2 schools that we have had for a while, but because of COVID, low census, the impact of the federal policies and the funding, they were not going to be able to continue the program. Well, Balmer stepped in there for 3 years, and we'll be able to work with them to prop them back up. And Balmer does match funding. Basically, it's 50-50 funding is what it does for these positions. So the model is called integrated student support, and it's a best practice. And the way that it works is, you saw the affiliates in the state of Washington, and then we train the staff. Yesterday and today, we're training all the staff, including the ones here in Wenatchee. They do the team building and all that. And these are site coordinators, as you see. And they're trained professionals who work with the schools, and the administrators. They report to the principal. The principal is the supervisor on site. And they have a program manager that also supervises them and makes sure that we collect a lot of data. Some of the first things that we do after we collaborate with partners in the community, as I was saying earlier, informed all that, the first step, number 1, is needs assessment. They come into the school, we interview the principal, the teachers, students. We identified 2 or 3 areas where you want to make an impact. Some of them can be, absenteeism, truancy, low reading scores, math scores. We look at the data in your school, and then we focus on that. A lot of that behavioral issues. And then after we collect that, this takes the first few weeks. Then we get into the planning with the principal and the team at the school. It says identify those areas. And then after we go through the planning, the site coordinators, they lead that process. And then they start to implement the model. Number 3 says integrated student supports. And what that is 3 tiers of support. Okay. Tier 1, they're school-wide services. You don't have to be poor or rich to be able to qualify for these services. You get, we organize things like financial literacy. We'll do workshops, we coordinate events, invite families and students and school staff to participate. We provide the pizzas, the gifts, the balloons, anything we do to promote that. Last year, we had a real cool event at Westside. We collaborated with Numerica and Kashmir Bank, and the whole day was a simulation of life. People will get a job, and they say how much money you have, and they go pay the bills. It was funny. It was entertaining, and all of a sudden, see, like, what? I gotta take the bus, but he's got money to buy a car. So they kind of learn about life. That's the practicality of it. So you see that we all volunteer for that. It was a real cool event. So That's tier one type of activities, impact the whole school. Tier two are targeted type of programming, like, tutoring, like, talking about, how to deal with bullying, different types of, with a focus group. Tier three is individualized services. Each site coordinator has about 25 to 35. Last year they were new, so we only allowed 25. This year they're gonna go to 35. So they encompass more students. So they're, so and they work very individually with them. They're not counselors, they're not providing services, they're not doing any of that. They're the trusted adults in their life. They check in with them every week. Hey, how are you doing? Let's have a goal. Hey, Emilio, how about we get your math scores up? How about you start showing to school on time and combing your hair and doing all that kind of stuff? They work with them individually, in the areas that they identify, and the teachers, many times the teachers refer here. Anybody in the school can refer somebody to this, and then they do the group effort and place them in this case. So a lot of the areas you do that we work on is academic assistance, basic needs, behavioral interventions, college and career prep in the high schools. We coordinate with Gear Up and other type of programming. We, will coordinate buses. Now we're in several schools, high schools, Manson, Waterville, here and Moses Lake. And we'll take students, we pay for the room and board. A couple of years ago, the school couldn't afford the bus driver. We pay for the bus driver. They put the bus, we pay for the gas, the bus driver, we coordinated all the, the dorms and all that, and they took them to 3 campuses. You know what difference that makes for a student to be able to go? And then this is I like the stories because they speak louder than data sometimes. Data's good. Today, we got done training the site coordinator for Waterville. The site coordinator for Waterville, Adolfo, was a student of Edgar Salamanca when Edgar was a site coordinator, and Tabitha Myers was the principal at Waterville in the first year that we were incubating. So now he went to Eastern, got his college degree. He got back in the community and he started working for another agency in the community. But, we had that position and he is going to be the site coordinator at the school that he went to. That's an alumni. Those are some of the first projects. I was so excited to see him today. And that is what it's about. I asked him, why did you decide to go to school? He goes, well, we were going to a college visit with Edgar, and I was like, no, I can't do this. I gotta, this is too hard. And he says, but going and hanging out and seeing, and he told me, you can do this. Because that made a difference for him. And here he is today, going back to the same school. Pretty excited about that. So after that, we do monitor and adjusting, like at 6 months into the school year in January, we'll meet with the principal. These are the goals we identify, whether it's basic, whether it's behavioral health needs or things like that. And we gather the information. So at the end of the year, we do another evaluation, and monitor all of that. We teach them life skills, mental health preparation. We do a lot of things like that. But we also coordinate with the community to bring the services in. So that's what the model, speaks about. These are things that we do that create a stronger partnership for the schools. Kid shows up at school at Moses Lake at a junior high. I was falling asleep in class. What happens? So they send him to see the site coordinator. The site coordinator started talking to them. Well, the family was couch surfing. The dad had lost his job. They had all their belongings in storage. And this is December. We all know what happens in December, the holidays. And they were about to lose everything because they were 3 months behind in the storage. He wasn't even sleeping, falling asleep in school. Well, we connected him with services in the community. We helped him find housing. But the first thing that we did is we paid for their storage so they wouldn't lose all their furniture and their belongings. And then our site coordinator communicated with the housing, out in the community, and then started working with them. We got them into housing, and things like that. That's how we partner in the community. And that's what it works, is people helping people all the time. And we are so honored to be here. I'll open it up for questions or comments.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sounds like a great program, and it seems like I really appreciate the expansion you're doing and let us know about all that you're doing to help kids in the district and really in the state meet the, find the resources that they need to be the best students they can be.
You know, I was one of those students in Peninsula Elementary in Moses Lake. I go 2 weeks in Selma, California. We're working in the grapes. I'd be there for a month in the 5th grade. Then we get to Moses Lake, 5th grade again. And I'm sitting there the first day, I know a diddly squat English, and there's a spelling test. Mrs. Adams, I still remember her face. She comes and she's uttering the words. She puts her hand on my shoulder and says, I'll work with you during recess, okay? Don't worry. That is the kind of adults that our staff are. And that's what it takes a lot of times. So appreciate being here.
I don't have a question. I just want to say, this is what community partnerships is about. I know our kids can't learn if they're cold, if they're hungry, if they're unhoused. And so when with the reduction of funding for our schools, we're going to need more support from our community partners. And this is a great example of, how the work is done. So thank you. Thank you for meeting our students. And what I like the most about it is that it's regardless of income, right? It's based on that personal need. So thank you.
So as a nonprofit, we can do fundraising that you can't, the schools. Last year, we got a grant from Numerica for $15,000. It came into these 2 schools, to supplement. And then we do food drives, school supplies drives, and clothing drives. About $10,000 to $15,000 per school. That's what some of the data was showing. So I will make sure that I'll send it to you all, and we go out there and we do that. Right now, we're gearing up to start doing, community foundation. We have many, many partners, so we're happy to be here.
I do have a question. So for our schools, you're in the middle school, you're in Foothills.
Yes.
Are you able to serve some of the other middle schools as well, or do you only serve the Foothills students?
Foothills and West Side right now, but don't worry, we're working on Corey right now. No, there's an opportunity. There's a way that title funding works, and look, I am so proud to be a member of this community. Bought a home and we're gonna retire here. So, and my family is all from Moses Lake. That's where I grew up. That's where my family finally settled. And there's a lot of challenges out there, but there's hope. And I think that that's what CIS National, has is doing a lot of work. Remember that they suspended your funding? That those 27 states, we have 3 lobbyists in the legislature, but we don't go there and say, hey, give us money. We help people. We say, this is why you want to invest in us. This is the advantage. So they unfroze the money really quickly. I mean, that means a lot of phone calling, a lot of, we get very active around there. So there's a lot of advocacy as well. At the state legislature here, same thing. We're in there. Last year I was on special education, transportation, and supplies the schools needed. We knew what your issues were. I met with Michelle Price in the district, and we were out there advocating. You can't do that. We can. Well, you have lobbyists that do that, but we can. We go there in contingencies from all these sites across the state and support the schools in our community. But you're right. It's getting tougher, but the community, one of our goals, and Rufus Woods, many of you know Rufus, he's on our board, okay? And we're working on a strategy, and he is super excited about what communities and schools does, and we're targeting, all the private sector in our community that is a caring sector, so because why? Because their parents of a lot of these children work for all that industry, and this is the kind of community that Wenatchee is. And that's what I love about Wenatchee. But we'll support Corey and his staff and making sure that that we're getting creative about going after funding to expand to more schools, to answer your question.
Emilio is very creative. I'll share that. And I want to share a little bit of history too, just so the board understands how our partnership came to be. We used to have two ESD funded positions for SAPs, student assistance professionals. And one was working with Foothills and Westside, and one was working with Wenatchee High School, Foothills and Westside. And then another was working with Wenatchee and Orchard and Pioneer. And so that's how we covered the spectrum. And when we lost one of those positions, that's when Jennifer reached out to communities and schools and said, we need help. And so when we were working with Emilio, we said we need to hire an individual to help support a little bit of Wenatchee High School, Westside, and Foothills. And he said, no, have I got a deal for you? And so, yes. And so therein lies the partnership. And he is very creative and he has great ideas. And we are working together to see what we can do in the future. And what I love about Emilio, and I've learned over the past couple of years, is he doesn't only write good grants, but he puts his money where his mouth is, and he does his own fundraiser. So he actually did the Seattle to Portland, the STP double century ride, and asked for donations to help him do that. And I don't know, how much did you raise with that this year? Do you have
We raised close to $6,000.
That was fantastic. So it's what an endeavor for him, not only working the grant writing continuum space, but also to just say, hey, I'm gonna do this, help support kids. So thank you for that, Emilio. We really appreciate that.
You're welcome. It's going to financial literacy and taking students to college campus visits. That's why we're going to dedicate that funding. We appreciate the partnership and, keep hope alive always.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Emilio, and keep us posted on Edgar
absolutely.
and the baby. Okay, we need to know.
Text message.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
All right. So that is our special presentations. Now we are moving on to discussion. The first read of, looks like 6 policies.
We have 6 policies, and to my left is our policy committee. So, oh yeah, we can. Yes, thank you. I mean, if there are some comments, the first policy, I'll just kind of go through and summarize them. Policy 2020, course design, selection, and adoption of instructional materials. This is a revised policy to comply with Senate Bill 5462, promoting inclusive learning standards and instructional materials. And there's a variety that fall under that category that we'll be covering. School boards and school district must adopt inclusive curricula with diverse, equitable, inclusive, age-appropriate materials. This policy outlined how course design and instructional materials will be governed. It also outlines core instructional materials, alternative instructional materials, intervention materials, and supplemental and temporary supplemental materials. The one thing that we talked about here before we moved it forward is where is the Wenatchee School District on curriculum adoption for this year? And that is social studies. So we'll be working on a major social studies curriculum adoption this year. And other than that, there wasn't much conversation on this one from the policy committee.
No, I just think it's important to point out that this did not substantively alter anything we currently do for anyone who might be concerned.
Thanks, Julie. Yep. Any other comment or part of the discussion?
I'm just going to add something quickly since I got a mic. I asked some questions at the board review stage and got very satisfactory answers. And my questions, and I want to say this to give confidence, were what's behind the policy for the future, the committees, the structure to handle this well. And I got very strong and good planning answers. So I'm satisfied.
Thanks, Martin. All right, we'll jump into policy 2020, library information and technology program. Again, this one is revised policy with this Senate Bill 5462, promoting inclusive learning as standards and instructional material. This policy outlines the goals and responsibilities of our teacher librarians as instructional partners and information specialists. Many changes in semantics here, but not so much in the content. Our procedures did not change at all, so they still remain as they have been, which is good. We have strong procedures. The policy committee wanted to ensure that those procedures still allowed parents to visit the materials as we're moving forward in the curriculum adoption cycle, and it does. And so we moved that one forward. Okay, all right. Next policy, 5011, sexual harassment of district staff prohibited. Thank goodness. This is another revised policy. Again, the same Senate bill, 5462. And the district is committed to positive and productive working environment free from discrimination, including sexual harassment. The policy really outlines the updated definitions of sexual harassment and the investigation process, the reporting procedures, staff responsibilities, and training requirements. And the major changes included updating verbiage on reporting to the district's Title IX coordinator. The policy committee wanted to make sure that the language matched other policies for groups. And one of those groups in the policy from WASDA said Boy Scouts of America. So we changed it to Scouting America. And then we moved that policy forward. Okay. A new policy, 6801, capital assets and theft sensitive assets. Cover our assets. Let's see. This is a new policy and procedure for the Wenatchee School District. It's based on the capitalization threshold in the uniform guidance, changing from 5,000 to a more realistic 10,000, which we all appreciate. And these are for assets acquired on or after October 1st of 2024. The policy creates requirements to physically inventory all of our items to protect the district against losses of property or budget in any of our theft-sensitive assets. So this is an interesting one. And so the policy committee wanted to make sure that we are building a process and creating documentation for all of this asset documentation. And so Sean and I have met a couple of times, and technology is very well covered, Marlon. So this is a good conversation by using the Follett asset management program that we have for our libraries. And so we're good when it comes to technology, and some of our technology pieces will get over that $10,000 threshold, but a lot won't. And so we're going to continue to use the Follett asset management program to build this process, but it's something that we're actually in the process of building. Okay, I just need to keep this straight. Okay. Policy 3206, pregnant and parenting students. So this is that policy that we shifted from the 2024 Title IX rules back to the 2020 Title IX rules. And originally the 2020 Title IX rules did not have a separate policy for pregnant and parenting students. They were included, but they didn't have their own separate policy. So here we are back with a separate policy based on the 2020 Title IX rules. So it's interesting. We have already approved this policy in essence back earlier this year, and then we pulled back. And so we're now approving it again in the Title IX debacle. But we're excited about this policy having its own merit, and we moved it forward. Last policy, we're talking about the COOP plan, as it's so fondly being talked about. So the continuity of operations plan, policy 6580. And this one is dense. The policy's not. The policy is about three quarters of a page, but when you get to the COOP, it's about 62 pages long. The continuity of operations plan is dense. So the policy addresses the restoration of safe learning environments after natural disasters, as outlined in what I'm lovingly called the COOP. The policy committee wanted to know how as a system, how we were handling this process. And so Director of Safety and Security, Tom Cooey, and Executive Director of Learning, Teaching, and Schools, Eric Anderson, and I met yesterday to go over the outline that Tom has put together already. And that was where the 62 pages of emergency planning comes in, but it's really good. There are some pieces that we need to go through and actually put, the right names and the right people into the process. And then we're going to do some tabletop exercises with our cabinet team and then with our building administrators, because, plans are great, but they're only as great as your familiarity with the plans and your actual use of those plans. And a lot of what the continuity of operations plan is really, it's a checklist of items that you should go through in any disaster or emergency. So it was a great learning opportunity for us to kind of plan this work out. But again, we will be prepared, and we are prepared in case of an emergency. We just need to become familiar with it now. And yeah, so after that understanding, I think the policy committee was ready to move that baby forward.
Just one little small technicality, the abbreviation for COOP should probably go after plan in the first paragraph.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, the acronym.
yeah, sorry, abbreviation, acronym right after plan.
Oh,
since
yeah.
It's part of that.
That's weird. Okay, we got that. We can do that. Kim, duly noted. We will make that change.
Okay, here's one more. Do you, is,
What is?
well, no.
Oh.
Here, because plan is part of the,
Mm-hmm. I see it.
the plan in the second sentence needs to
Yep.
be.
Just like a SIP plan, a school improvement plan.
Plan.
I love it. Thank you.
That's
We
all I-
can make those changes. That was will you drop the mic? Yeah.
Don't break it.
Excellent. So if there aren't any comments or discussions, then we'll move those forward to second read on the 23rd of September.
Can I, you wanna do a duet with me, Corey? Since I know-
Yes. Yes. No, here you go. Just take it.
Okay, all right. We don't have to duet now. I'm gonna have our own mic. All right, so we have done discussion. We are moving on to our action. So our first action today is the Wenatchee Education Association Collective Bargaining Agreement. Do I have a motion to approve the Wenatchee Education Association Collective Bargaining Agreement? It is quietly done by Julie. Is there a second? Of hand raise? All right, Martin has seconded. So has been moved by Julie and seconded by Martin. Any discussion? Head shakes all around. All in favor of this resolution, say aye or raise your hand. All right, ayes across the board. Motion carries. Our second action today is the co-curricular collective bargaining agreement. Do I have a motion to approve the co-curricular collective bargaining agreement? We have, all right, Mark, come up top. And then, oh, we're gonna go, I think Julie got it first. So if this had been buzzers, far into the table. All right, has been moved by Mark and seconded by Julie. Any discussion on this one? No, seeing head shakes. I will, no discussion. All right, all in favor of adopting this, say aye or raise your hand. Aye and all right, we are good. Motion carries. And I know there's a lot of work that went into these. So thank you to all the groups that were a part of this, because I know that it was probably not a lot of fun. But thank you for the work. I'm looking specifically at you. And now superintendent report.
Excellent. Thank you, President Jackson. Lots of things. Our last board meeting was the night before the first day of school. So there's been a lot of stuff. So the first week of school, we're in the third week of school now. So 3 days, 4 days. This is our 5-day week. We had our first late start Monday, which means our first collaboration for all of our certificated staff. And so that went well. The energy is great. Welcoming back our students was a wonderful first week. The interesting part was to wander through the high schools and see no cell phones, and to strangely feel super awkward taking pictures of no cell phones because I was using my phone. And I was like, I have to go back and get like a digital camera or something. So I am complying with the guidelines, but it was just great. And we've heard from some students that have changed kind of their original opinion on what they thought this might look and feel like. And that may not be the overall consensus, but I've heard from some students that were like, I was dreading this. And now I realize that there is something to be said about not having my phone in learning spaces and in social spaces. So that's great. Teachers are sharing, their thoughts on what it means to have a potentially fully engaged classroom and not to have the disruption of every single period asking students to put their phones away. But I've watched the process, and I've seen it at Wenatchee High School, at Westside High School, and then this morning at the Tech Center, and it's pretty efficient and it's working very well. Obviously, we wonder about the high school. We think of Westside and Tech Center with their 300 students, but the high school, it works really, really well. They have people lined at the front door. We know that for safety and security reasons, they show their ID card, but some students have their ID card in the little yonder pouch ID spot, which is great and handy, and then put their phone in, lock it, and they're good for the day. I did hear over the weekend, though, Fidelina Polito's son, Diego, grabbed me and he said, it's a little bit hard to get out of school as fast as I want to get out now. And he's like, I'm trying to catch the bus, Mr. Kalahar is what he said. And I was like, okay, we'll figure out how we can work on that. But it was great to hear and see all of these things in action. We had a fall sports kickoff that was amazing. We had performances by the cheerleaders and the Applettes. Our Booster Club president, Ursula, and BJ both shared words of inspiration, and BJ shared her We Are Wenatchee presentation with all of the fall athletes and their parents. It was great. Then we had each of the fall sports did a team dance, which was super fun, and it came down to football and softball at the end, and softball got the win. So it was great. So the team dances were awesome. As BJ mentioned earlier, we had our first weekend of sports kind of had some bumps and some lumps with the air quality, but Plan C worked and we had some wins in soccer and in football. I'm just really grateful for the collaboration and the network of athletic directors to help really facilitate this, because it took a lot of coordination to make all of this happen. And then just a huge thanks to transportation for stepping up on a weekend that they didn't have any transporting of students and say, let's do this. Let's get kids to Coeur d'Alene and make that happen. So that is really, really cool. Also, YMCA, Eastmont Aquatic Center, Wenatchee Rackets, and Athletic Club, Town Toyota for also providing space for our athletes to actually practice too during the smoke. So that was awesome. Baseball Academic Award. This just came in. Diana shared this with me. So congratulations to the Wenatchee High School baseball team. The team was awarded the American Baseball Coaches Association Academic Excellence Award for maintaining a team GPA of 3.45 during the entire season. So that's really fantastic. Love that. And then we all know that we're still working and dealing with HVAC systems at the Wenatchee High School. Our 3 new compressors are up and running, but we still have 2 that are down right now. But we also have room air conditioners that are in the other places. We're hoping this week helps keep everything cool. That was the problem in a lot of ways. There was no way to open that building up to cool off during that heat wave that we had that second week of school. And then finally, Fiestas Mexicanas returns to Triangle Park this weekend. So I'm very excited for a weekend of fun, celebration activities, and great food. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right, we will do board communication. Julie, you want to take it away?
Don't have much to add, but I'll just follow up on Corey's. I just really, really want to give my love and appreciation to all of our athletic department, the AD, the transportation department, all the coaches, the families that were able to make all these changes in the last minute, the communication that went out to families days ahead of time saying these are the scenarios were very, very well done, very organized. Yeah, we had to switch a home game Friday to an away game in Coeur d'Alene at 10 a.m. for football on Saturday, but it was better than nothing. And we were happy as a family to accommodate things like that. My daughter's home game in Wenatchee was moved to C-Lab. We made that trip too, because it was great to see the effort put in to make sure these kids were out there to do that. And very, very thankful for our athletic director and the team for doing that and being so organized with the communication. It was absolutely outstanding. And then very thankful, transportation to everyone, just the coordination it took was just unreal for that last minute. So very good way to start a new year in bad circumstances. And thankful to our staff for being able to adjust to the smoke and the conditions of the first week of school with the HVAC and things like that. So I know it's been we've kind of felt it all this beginning of the school year. So I just appreciate everybody's flexibility and working together and kind of dealing with it as we have to go. So looking forward to the hopefully rest of the season actually taking place like it's supposed to, more full school days, you know, onward and upward.
I just have a story to share. I ran into a teacher from Westside on Saturday at the farmer's market, and he was sharing how wonderful it's been to have a cell phone free environment. He shared that teachers were kind of commenting that they also have to shift a little bit because kids aren't interacting, they're talkative, and they're not used to so much chatter because they're actually talking to each other. So that was really exciting. He says that, yeah, there are challenges and a little bit of defiance, but he said the consensus was that it was great to see the face-to-face interaction and all the chatter. So yeah, that's all.
Mark? Yeah. You're up.
Not ready. So I will continue on with the cell phone. I learned that I had not forgotten how to rip CDs onto an old iPod so that my daughter could take an iPod and still listen to music without having a internet device. So hopefully maybe I can connect her with all these kids that you guys are hearing from that are enjoying being cell phone free. She's still complaining. This week we attended the Little Shop of Horrors auditions. There were 35 high school kids. It was really exciting to see them. Always a really diverse group that shows up. So that was exciting. And congrats to everyone who showed at Chelan County Fair.
The first interagency meeting of the new academic year was held in this room this morning. So I guess it's continuing partnership themes. It was well attended by community organization partners, and I wanted to continue the tradition of joining the meetings. It is really good to see healthy caring and sharing of needed resources, opportunities, and benefits in a wraparound way. It's kind of like we talk about communities and schools. And also with the state migrant program, the way they do it. A lot of wrapping around students with need help in different places. For families and students who live inside the boundaries of the district. So that tradition continued.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I was going to add that I thought our facilities workshop on the 18th was really productive. And if you want any information, you can go find that all online on YouTube if you want to see the actual video. And then the facilities tab on the website has a lot of really good information. And you can contact the district office if you want to get involved in advocacy for the bond. As we're talking again about HVAC issues at the start of the year, I think it will be timely. But yeah, other than that, my kids were saying school's really nice. I was like, well, that's great. That's great. So thank you to everyone who's made that my house positive. All right. And other than that, I think we're done. Have a good night.